and at least 2 officers were stuck at Queen Elizabeth, waiting in A&E with suspect for an injury he had caused to himself. Pissed on a railway line. "Control to 9-2, can I show you en route?" The controller was speaking slowly, condescending. "Wait there," Hunt snapped at the kid. He strode a few paces back towards his own vehicle and changed the radio's channel. "This is Delta November 9-2 to Borough CCTV command." A different frequency squeal came before a gruff response. "Unit calling CCTV, go ahead. I need you to get visuals of the house on Dahlia Road. I want to confirm no sight of a house fire or suspicious activity." There was a long pause, while the imbeciles at Borough CCTV worked out which way up their keyboards went. Finally, "Dahlia Road coverage is down 9-2, both cameras are offline. Over." He felt the first flicker of unease. "Go road along, command. It should be visible from Fuchsia Street. You," he pointed at the boy, "stop driving like a prick. I'll send your parents a ticket." The boy didn't move. This time Hunt did roll his eyes. "Go on, go home." The boy leapt into action, scooping his car keys up and slamming the door shut before pulling away at 5 miles an hour and crawling down the road. Hunt got into his own car and stuffed the key into the ignition. It choked a couple of times as he impatiently turned it over. He counted to 5, tried again, and it finally started. A different voice spoke on the radio, a woman this time, slightly breathless. "I've got a view from Openshaw Road. Looks like there's a column of smoke rising above the street." Hunt's siren drowned out her next sentence. Chapter 2. Wednesday. Early hours. Field. By the time DCI Field arrived at 4:30, the fire was out. 3 homes had been gutted by the blaze. The glass in the windows had shattered. The frames were black, and so were the rooms beyond them. The hoses were being retracted. Water still seeped out from under the front doors of the houses that weren't caught in the fire. Those would be ruined too. It was hard to make out precise details. The fire brigade had cut the power to the whole road as a precaution, so there were no streetlights. Clouds were blocking the moon and threatening rain. Field ducked under the cordon, ignoring the twinge in her back. The air was acrid, and she had to remember to breathe through her mouth. She hadn't been anywhere near the building yet, but her paper suit was already covered in soot. Standing around the scene were whole crowds of firefighters. She still had to remind herself not to say firemen. Field weaved through them, trying to get to the front. Usually the atmosphere among fire crews was jovial, jostling. Field had met plenty who would peacock for onlookers, basking in the adulation the public reserved just for them. But not tonight, not when there'd been a death. The crew from Eltham, who had been the first on scene, was soot-stained and wearier than their colleagues. Even for January, it was an unusually bitter night, and while the fire crews were solemn, they were also all holding cups of coffee and packets of biscuits. It didn't look like the neighbours had offered the police officers at the scene anything. The standard treatment of the Met versus the heroic LFB. Then she caught sight of the house's blackened bricks, and her irritation ebbed away. Field hated working fires. In her first few months on response, almost 30 years ago, she'd followed her training officer into a burning flat. The mother and son got out okay, but they lost everything they had over a lit cigarette butt in an overturned ashtray. "Mom?" Field turned and saw a CID detective she recognised from a past case. "Morning, DS Birch. You can call me Sarah, Mum." Field forced a smile. She'd probably never refer to Birch as Sarah. It was incredibly old-fashioned that Field called everyone by their surname, but it was a habit she'd had for decades. Most people assumed that it was because her father was in the military, but actually, she just hated her first name and the over-familiar way her superiors used to call her Liz. "Have you been filled in, Mum?" Birch hesitated. "We don't have much detail on the cause of the fire yet, I'm afraid." The fire should be a CID case, and they both knew it.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.